extra. Come on. Chub, chub.
Chub, chub. Yeah. Oh, you know, we got Idell in the building, so you know I got to showcase my skills. Yeah, Big Funk. I'm coming on the that's what I do. You don't even know it yet. I'm just gonna add myself, and I'm gonna make a Triller video.
I thought you was going to freestyle.
Oh yeah, I'm going to freestyle. I'm playing on the keys on the podcast. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I can't hear the beat, so I'm making up the style. I'm about to pass it off. That shit about to turn off.
Yo, what it do, cousins? It's your boy, Benny Hunnis. I'm in here with the Funk is Real once again. Yeah, go ahead and shut that off. Make sure that shit don't run
Yes,
back.
sir.
You know what I'm talking about. It is the villagers. We is the villagers. I'm back from the village.
You
You thought I wasn't coming back, but I'm back.
Hell no, I had 50 on it.
Damn, I lost you $50.
Yeah, dog, you've been costing me money in fantasy podcasts. I'm just gonna stop.
Don't bet against me, dog. That's the problem. You don't bet against
You
the
heard
hundreds.
that. That's the message of the episode. Don't bet against the hundreds.
That's it, man. Yeah, bro, I'm actually really happy to be back. It was the shortest trip I've ever had to Ethiopia, but arguably the most successful, bro.
Well, we're glad you're back, man. We were a little worried because, like you said, this was the shortest trip. So naturally, we assumed it was going to be extended at some point.
Nah, yeah. It may have been if I didn't get sick.
Ah, see.
Yeah, you get sick out there, you get ready to get back to the good old US of A real quick.
It's like, I need to get back.
doctor, I need everything, antibiotics. Yeah, bro. Although they was willing to give me shit without scripts, which was pretty cool. But anyway, I'm glad to be back. We have structure that
We
trying
have
to-
structure.
We have some structure we're
Oh
trying
my
to install
God,
into this whole
finally.
fucking thing. And so we're going to have an introductory segment that we have all the time. And it may sound a little familiar. You know, when you wake up in the culture, you wake up at the crib, what's the first thing that goes on in the house? Do you know?
What do you do when you first wake up in the morning?
First wake up in the crib. What's
what are
going
you
on?
drinking?
It's an ambiance in the house. It's called something time. Hey, he got it.
Yeah.
My man Adele in the
Bunna
studio
time.
with us. Bunna time. So, we're going to start off every, I guess, episode, whatever the fuck we call this stuff, with a little segment called Bunna time. Get us kickstarted. It's usually some current events or some shit.
Yeah, what's ever popping, of course, just like you do when you drink your coffee in the morning. You figure out what's going on. You pick up your phone and you start scrolling. So we just going to be some of your little highlights that you scrolled through.
Facts. And so today being, what's today's date? Tuesday, the 21st, just after MLK Day. So we got, of course, MLK Day itself, that we got to honor the late, the great, the GOAT, MLK, in my opinion, the greatest American ever to exist. And then other cool stuff, I guess, that we've seen online. Actually, in the spirit of Ethiopia, one of our favorites, one of our baddies.
Oh, man. You might know her by Rihanna, but we like to call her Shukariana. That's what I like to refer to her as.
She got actually, I've seen it on her, like, correct me if I'm wrong, it's like kind of Tigray-esque, right?
The braids,
The
yes.
braids, yeah.
And, of course, we'll probably get somebody to correct us if we're incorrect. I feel like we're correct because I'm pretty familiar with them. So you got the braids. Y'all, I know you ladies have seen it. She got the lady braids. All she's missing is the gold. She's dripped out. She even got the henna on the hand in the picture.
Yeah.
With the braids, looking like a shukarina, like a selam, like a ribka.
She looking like something like that.
You know, she just looking very Habesha-like.
She damn near looked like she had a nutala on. I could be mistaken, but had over the hair a little bit. Yeah, she looked bad. She looked
That's
like
her liberating look, I guess. You know, I heard she broke up with her billionaire boyfriend. So now that means there is a chance. Okay, so we have a chance, fellas. It's the same as last time. Again, 1 in a billion chances. But I like my odds.
Yeah, I like them better than when she's with the billionaire.
Yeah, then it's 0 in a billion.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not on the market. So
You're not on the market, but guess what? I am.
Big funk.
You know what I mean?
Get the billies up so we get with Rihanna. So I can have me a little nephew by Rihanna. You know what I'm talking about? Or niece.
Claps bellies with Rihanna and put one in her.
Yeah, man. I've actually seen them braids. I don't know if it's just because I'm obviously on a lot of Habesha threads and shit, but I've been seeing that shit a lot, like with Nutch.
Yeah, it's definitely popular.
Like rocking the Tigray-esque braids, like the front braids, you know what I'm talking about, with the letting the hair out.
It's a beautiful look. Not on them. Yeah, not on.
It looks terrible on them.
Yeah, not on Sally.
Yeah.
But on everybody else, it looked really
Sally
good.
Timret.
Sally.
But yeah, bro. So shout out to Rihanna for repping the culture, whether she knew she was doing it or not.
She probably didn't. She probably did, actually.
Speaking of the culture, though, like with MLK and the MLK Day, you know, obviously there's like reverence, right? You're supposed to look at this, kind of honor the man. I don't even say the myth, the legend. He's not a myth. He was real. And rather than honor him and you know, like actually study what he was talking about, this country, which by the way kind of clouds or how you say waters down his whole shit. I don't feel like we actually ever really talk about what his messaging really is. They focus on I have a dream and like all the shit that make people all what's the word I'm looking for? Basically soft. No, I don't want to say soft.
Comfortable.
It's fucked up. Like, you know, like simmered down. You know what I'm saying? I think people, the I don't want to say the government, but society uses MLK as a way to get black people to calm the fuck down and like turn the other cheek rather than getting on our Malcolm X shit or some shit, right? But even MLK was realizing how kind of like, again, I try not to use drastic words, but like naive he kind of was to think like that shit would work like that. And then of course he was a socialist. Like, we don't talk about that shit either. We just say, oh, you know, he wanted everybody to be together. And then the U.S., when the government murked him. And
yes, they need to stop. Because that's another thing that kind of irritates me sometimes, too, is that it's kind of presented as if he, like, passed away.
Yeah.
And wasn't murdered. Like, let it not be forgotten. He was murdered. He was taken away.
Yeah. And not even, like, how people remember him being murdered. Like, the whole shooting thing is... He was shot, and then he didn't die. And then he went to the hospital, and they fucking suffocated him. It made sure he died. I don't think people know that shit. It's
covered up.
It covered up to an extent. His wife filed a claim and won against the FBI, and it came out that they willfully and purposely killed him, sent an assassin. It didn't. He survived the shooting, so they literally went to the hospital and fucking killed him with a pillow. I don't think people know that shit.
A lot of people don't know that.
And that shit's crazy. And then you see the FBI tweeting now, oh, you know, the great Martin Luther King and blah, 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 blah. And some people are like, oh, they've learned from their mistakes. The fucking building is still named after Edgar J. Hoover or whatever the fuck, President Hoover. And that's the fucking president who was most after him.
That, if anybody hasn't seen, he has a movie there's a movie about J. Edgar Hoover, and it kind of goes in depth into how hands-on he was in orchestrating a lot of the takedowns and a lot of important figures. Basically, he was a main person for taking down the black resistance per se. You know what I mean? Any advocate for black rights, black civil rights, any sort of that type of movement. He was the person that was really behind the assassinations and the killings of all these people.
Yeah.
Destroying the Black Panther Party.
Yeah.
Killing MLK, killing Malcolm, all of these important figures. He's really behind a lot of it. And he's like the puppet behind there pulling the strings, and a lot of people
the
don't
puppet
know that
master.
about. Yeah.
And he's the fucking name on the FBI building.
He was. They used to say he was the most powerful man.
That's crazy, bro. Yeah, and then here we go, not honoring MLK ourselves for shit. Have you seen these flyers and shit?
I'm not gonna lie. They're funny as shit, man. They're funny as hell. It's so fucked up because I've even been like the one. I remember the one that's real popular is like where he's like throwing up the peace sign, but they have altered and edited out his index finger to where it's just the middle.
Oh, he's
finger.
like flipping the bird.
Yeah, like flipping the bird. And he's like smiling with a big ass Like, yeah, fuck the camera. You know what I mean?
I didn't even remember that was a peace sign. I literally thought that they just caught a candid of him flicking.
Right?
See, and that's how they get you.
Fuck 12. Nah, he wasn't saying that.
Bro, I seen some shit with him, like with just like strippers behind him with a gat, him with all sorts of shit, bro. And it's like, that shit's trash, bro. I'm sorry.
But it's so funny.
It's funny,
it's fucked
but
up,
like,
but
it's
it's
not
wrong.
funny.
And okay, so this is how I
It's a little
tested too, right? I'm like, all right, maybe this is this generation, like the youth's version of how they would see themselves as MLK. Everybody sees themselves like everybody has a part of MLK in them, even the nigga on the corner shooting dice and the nigga in the strip club throwing ones.
You got a little MLK.
We all got a little MLK. We all have a dream. We all want to be somebody one day. You know?
Fuck, bro.
That's what I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna chalk that up to that.
I like that though.
Yeah, that's me turning the negative into a positive.
Way to remain positive.
All right, and another, I guess, positive negative thing. I don't even want to, because I'm afraid we already done got hacked by the Ukrainians. I ain't trying to get hacked by the Iranians or Trump after this. But it's real interesting. So, you know, the general that was killed by Trump, or by the U.S., I guess. What was Soleimani?
Yeah.
So there's a lawmaker from the same province or the same region that he's from in Iran, and he's recently made a statement that he's put a bounty out, basically a hit for $3 million on Donald Trump, the president of the United States. And he said he got that money for y'all cash. So,
cash.
So I don't know who the hell
who had a balls to do that?
Who finna do that shit? Like, that's really not even a big enough bounty to risk your neck for. Like $3 million.
You can count me out on that one,
right?
Yeah.
That first of all, I don't know why he went out and just said that shit, because he act like
them drones can't hit his ass next.
That nigga about to be chilling one day. What the fuck? Bah! You dead, nigga.
Yeah, dummy.
He gonna think somebody done turned the fan on in the house. Nigga, there's a drone right on his ass. Nigga.
Bro, that's wild, bro. You wouldn't even think or imagine to put $3 million on the fucking president's head as an American.
What?
But that motherfucker over there, he in Iran, he said for whatever reason he think he's safe, I guess.
And he with the smokes.
All the way.
Donald Trump is with the shit.
Bro, he will blow some shit up, clearly.
I can only imagine what he's thinking right now in his little Oval Office. What? He said he's gonna $3
million?
Where's fuck? What's the code? I pushed the button. Push the button. That nigga about to blow the whole country off the map. You got this man fucked up.
Bro, that shit wild.
You cannot say the pop without the smoke.
Yeah, I definitely am not fucking around. I'm off Twitter. I'm off all that shit. I'm gonna wait till somebody else is the president before I start talking shit again.
But you know who needs to be bombed is I don't know if you guys have seen recently. There's this image of the Tupac statue that's been going around, and safe to say it doesn't look anything like him. I guess like a silhouette of him. I don't know,
bro. It's like
outline.
He got like a damn. I don't even know what to call it, a suit. He got like the gangster suit on, with the necklace, but his face, it's the face. Like his face is all fucked up.
He got like Down syndrome in the face.
He looked like he did a little like schmack.
Yeah, he looked fucked up in the face.
He looked fucked up, bro. He looked like skinny and old.
It don't look like Tupac.
It don't look like Pac, bro. And I don't understand what they were thinking.
It needs to be taken down immediately.
And it was saying it was in Dallas, but it's not. Is it Dallas, Texas?
No, so it's Dallas, Georgia. And that's the misleading thing I don't like, because everybody, at least us in Dallas, we over here like, what fuck
Where
this
the fuck?
statue
We
is?
gonna blow that?
You know we all drive trucks out here. Somebody about to yank this bitch out by sun up today.
Facts.
Okay?
Yeah.
We about to get this hoe gone. So
it's in Georgia.
It's in Dallas, Georgia. I don't know where the hell of Dallas, Georgia is.
I don't think motherfuckers in Georgia know where Dallas, Georgia is.
Like, you mean Texas? The fuck?
Nah, bro. That shit's crazy.
I don't know where the fuck that is. But yeah.
But anyway, man, that's a little bit of the recent shit, I guess, that's going on in the world.
That was our segment of Boon Night Time.
A little morning boon.
A little morning boon.
But yeah, man. Back to fucking Ethiopia. Like, bro, next time, I don't care like first of all, if anybody who's listening to this shit needs to know, the first week of the year, every year, at least the first week, if you can make it longer, then great. If you got a job and need to get back, then obviously, bring your ass back. But the first week, 2 weeks of the year is officially coined Diaspora Homecoming. All right. That means we got what is the equivalent of a homecoming week at a university or I guess a high school, where you pull up and it's just a bunch of festivities, right? Yeah. Everything from fucking parties to actual like social events, conferences, just like panels, anything that is geared towards like the betterment or empowerment of the country, right? And we as a diaspora, we have like a privilege and a kind of a duty to go and give back a little bit. But this time, mind you, we've been planning on this stuff for a little while, but this time when we went back, it was a wave like honestly I haven't seen before. Like it was lit. Obviously there was some different reasons that brought people out there. Tuma, I don't know if you know Tuma, is a big guy at YouTube now, got married out there to an Ethiopian woman, and that brought a lot of people out there. And then that kind of trickled over because, obviously they stayed in Ethiopia. And Everyday People, we threw an Everyday People party out there. Shout out Everyday People, DJ MoMA, Maine. Shout out to the people who we didn't even know really were popping up. And that was kind of the best part of this whole thing was we had Boss come out from Dreamville, Earth Gang, Olu, or Johnny Venus pulled up, Ali from TDE, Mixed by Ali, the head engineer for TDE, came out, and it was all like just off the strength, like off the muscle of pulling up to Africa as a continent, because they toured a little bit before they came to Ethiopia, and just showing love, but also just like exploring roots, that was the best part of this whole shit. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't have to pull up. I mean, he gave basically a free show, I say free. I mean, obviously we charge people at the door, but it's $10, you know what I'm saying? And what we got out of that event was so much more than a party. It was empowering, For people that don't know, Boss is Abasha, or at least half Abasha, or part Abasha. His mom is Eritrean. And so he went on a whole, like he was doing his own identity search, or like his own like identity recall, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Tapping into his own roots. Johnny Venus from Earth Gang pulled up, and he was like on his own mission. Like he went to Lalibela, like he was just doing his own thing. It's just like he went in deep. Like he just like he went on his own, and then he pulled up to Everyday People after, and we just had a fucking great time. Like the energy in that place was off the charts, man, and it was just beautiful because you had diaspora, you had locals, you had people who ain't necessarily Ethiopian but like respected the culture, fucked with the culture, and all just pulled up, and we just had a party till 2-3 in the morning. Shout out the world famous DJ K Meta, tore that bitch down, man, I could go on talking about it all day, but it was just really, really, really inspiring personally for me, just because like that has been like my whole mission is like bridge building and using music and media, the podcast, using all this shit to build a bridge between, back home, whether it's Ethiopia or Eritrea or Sudan or Nigeria, wherever it is for you, building a bridge back home to the diaspora around the world. Like that's for me like what I would consider like my life's goal, my life's purpose.
And I've noticed that's becoming like a growing thing nowadays. People are starting to make that journey back to Africa, and the beauty of it is now these African countries are starting to open up the doors for black people all around the world. Come back, come home, come back to your roots, come back to the motherland.
Yeah.
Which is good both
great.
ways.
Both ways, right? Like the governments out there, I feel like are getting smart, especially like Ghana. I think they're like leading the way.
Definitely leading the way.
You know what I'm saying? Because they're offering citizenship and offering assistance and investment into the country. Like they're smart. They figured it out. Like why just watch while, your own people, in my opinion, right? I feel like we're all one people. I mean, obviously we're all got different ethnicities, tribes, I guess, if you want to call it whatever, but we're all one people. Why watch your people suffer from across the ocean to try to like assimilate to this whole Western culture where you could be going back home and bringing a lot of that knowledge, or just, if anything else, the energy back to your home, to Africa, to whatever country you want to go to, and do something to help push that country forward, And so Ghana, in my opinion, is leading the way with that shit, and that's kind of what we're trying to introduce with Ethiopia too, is like the concept of homecoming is really just a way to open the door. You know how many people, I can't even speak to the FOMO, because I was getting that a lot, like so many people having FOMO because they weren't there.
Nigga, what? We's all watching this shit like, man, how the hell? Why do I want to be in Ethiopia so much right now is crazy. It's like,
and then
it was super popping.
It was the people, it's people who were there for their first time who didn't want to leave. That to me that's the point. It's like when you take your ass out there, and I've said this before, I've said it on this podcast, I say it to anybody who meets me in person. When you take your ass back home, there's not a way to explain it other than you to actually be there, to wake up every day, to walk around in the streets, and to look and see people who look like you, who are speaking a language that's not English but that you're familiar with. You know what I'm saying? That have the mannerisms that you're used to, the culture and the customs that you're used to. And then you realize it's the whole fucking country. Like, you're not just like 1 out of 100, like in this country where it's like, yeah, we have little cultural centers and we have pockets of us. Nah, the whole fucking country is you. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing to explain that other than to go experience it. And then when you're there for long enough, you start to realize, dog, I could live here. Like, I don't actually have to be in the United States of America. I mean, God bless America, right? We obviously got a lot of great things in this country, that a lot of things that you don't get there, like at least consistently, like, but at the same,
consistently for sure.
Consistency is the biggest thing, right? Like consistent power, water, shit like that. But at the same time, it's like you also realize how much you don't need a lot of the shit that you have here, like what you could live on, like, and what's there for you to explore and for you to help develop. So
there's a lot to explore and develop. That's a good thing about it. In all parts of Africa, majority of it is beneficial, like for people to come back or go back, I should say, because you do have those opportunities to create things that you might not be able to here. It was kind of like that, like the concept of, America's not for us. And so we never got black people never received their 40 acres and a mule, right? And this is almost kind of like a consolation in a sense, right? It's like you can go back, even though you don't have a personal connection because you don't have the family or anybody out there like we do. We can go back because we have family. We know where we can go directly, but for a lot of, African Americans, there's not a single person they can just go back to. Like, even if you do have your bloodline is from Ghana or whatever, it's not like you can just go back to Ghana and find somebody that you're related to, in a sense, and have even a more deeper connection to the place. So I can understand it could be difficult to probably assimilate to in that manner because you're not accustomed to the culture already. So it would be more so being introduced to you and you kind of being
also, I would think, my bad, I'm gonna cut you off, but also I feel like there's gonna be this tapping into this thing that's innate in you that you couldn't really understand where it came from or why, right? Because even us, like, of course, our parents are a lot, more strict with making sure that we maintain the culture in some shape or form. But when you're growing up here in America as a black person, or if you're growing up as a black person in America, there's so much that's innate in you that can't be explained or understood when looking at it through like a Western lens, or through a predominantly like white lens, or Euro, Anglo, whatever the fuck low lens. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like when people go tap in, even if it's something that's foreign to them, it's still inherently more innate. Like I remember watching like Ludacris when he was on his trip back, right? And then like, he was like hitting the shoka already, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Where did he become he got a citizenship?
I don't think, it wasn't Ghana.
No, it's not Ghana.
Was it Uganda?
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, look it up. But I know that he got a citizenship out there. Samuel L. Jackson did too. Hey, tap that nigga on his head real quick.
Gabon.
Oh, Gabon. There you go. Yeah.
My man is Gabonese, man. He's a Gabonese citizen. That's dope though, because somebody like him, other people need to see those influential people going back.
Yeah.
It, a lot of people, like I said, they're influential, so it inspires, and it opens people's minds up to going back there and doing the same, finding their ancestry. And I'd advise people, black people, if you want to do one of those DNA tests, don't do that. What is it? Ancestry.com, because it's not as precise as, because they don't have as much samples or whatever from Africa. They don't have enough samples, so they can't really give you like your tribe and where more detail on it, right? Yeah. There's one called like African Ancestry, where you have the ability to find out not only where in Africa you're from, but even more in depth to the tribe and to the area that your DNA would come from.
No shit.
So that's actually way more effective. Like you would be able to find out like, oh, I'm 53% Igbo, and I'm 42%, I don't know, Gabonese or some shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can just figure that stuff out. Then you might have a little Habesha sprinkled in, and you like 6% Oromo or something. you just got something on there.
I don't get too technical because Oromo's not Habesha technically, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, because somebody gonna be on your head. I already know, so I'm gonna put that out there so
somebody gonna be on my head.
But yeah, bro, it's to me, it's of the utmost importance for everybody to shake back and get back and just go peep it. Like that's number one for me, bro.
If we don't stress one thing enough, it's that.
Yeah.
And good thing is, I'm sure, like you said, going back there probably gave you a lot of eye-opening experiences. I guess coming back, what type of experiences did you have that, and what has it kind of led to and moving forward, and like what you want to do?
So, part of like what I was mentioning, like being reinvigorated in a way, was there was a passion that I carried that I was first maybe just like growing up, or the world was like subduing, which was really that bridge building. And then I mentioned like Boss coming out there, and he literally did his own due diligence and took his time to get on the mic and speak to Pan-Africanism, and just like and going out there and he himself making that move and trying to promote other people to do that off the strength and off the love of culture. And so that kind of just like re-inspired me to get back on my shit, to push culture through like these mediums that we have. Like, not to say that I've ever stopped. Anybody who's external is probably like, nigga, you've been doing this shit the whole time. But internally, I know I've just been personally going through a lot of like struggles with making sure like, man, am I really supposed to be doing this, or should I just be like flipping stocks for a living and just chilling? You know what I'm saying? And so there was that, and then going out there, it also made me just like want to clear my head more. Like the partying and all that was fun, especially like for the business side of things. It's great, but like I came back. I'm not really drinking. I'm not really taking part in anything that's clouding my mind in any way. I kind of want to get back to that like childlike adolescent feeling that I had when I was a teenager, and or just breaking into college, and my mind was just like so open and just flying at 100 miles an hour and just creative and almost like that childlike bliss that you get with just a hint of ignorance or a hint of being naive to failure, which helps you explore and being willing to fail and not really just like having too much fear or worrying about shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I hope I'm not just like running in circles, but that's like the big thing for me, is just putting everything down and just find like that purest version of myself, and just like tapping into my most natural self, getting back in the gym. Like, I grew up, I spent all of my like adolescence as an athlete, which I feel like fueled my mind. When you're working out every day and your body is like super lean and it's a well-oiled machine, it has a big effect on your mind. So just getting back on my super healthy shit and getting back on my just like love of culture and love of self.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing for me, that I came back and was like, man, like 2020, I gotta really, and I kind of talked about it a little bit before I left, but like it just put a stamp on it, bro. Like it really put a stamp on it. Like, yo, I gotta do me and love me. You know what I'm saying? Tap into me, not in a selfish way, but in just more of like I said, it's about like love. Like really, the best way, or you'll be able to love people at your highest level when you're truly like loving yourself. And that's kind of like what I came back with. It was like, let me love myself enough to not intoxicate myself and not do all this other shit. So that was it for me personally.
See, that's very eye-opening. I guess you can call that 2020 vision.
Hi-yo! I like that. Yes, sir. I came back with a 2020 fucking vision.
But no, so that's a good thing sometimes, because vacations, New Year's, they give you a time to reflect and really look in depth into the things that you want to do and accomplish.
For sure.
So it's good in a sense of, we all need that, right?
Yeah.
I feel like everybody has that moment where they sit back and they think to themselves, am I happy? Am I really content of what's going on or what I'm doing in life? Whether it's professionally, personally, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And I think we all go through that. Even myself, even while you were gone, I really had some time to even sit back myself and reflect on, like, what do I need to do? What do I need to improve on?
Yeah.
Looking back on my year, where are some areas I feel like I need to improve on? Like, what do I keep doing that I need to not do anymore? What do I need to start doing that I haven't been doing?
Yeah.
Right. So it's dropping bad habits, like you said, right? Whether that's drinking, doing whatever the case may be, right?
Yeah.
And if you are doing that, how do you limit and how do you find balance?
Balance. I was about to say, yeah.
And it's all about balance, right?
Facts. Big facts.
So even myself, like, I've looked at, okay, what do I want to accomplish? So even like, for instance, like me and Helen and Marina were getting together, right? And Betty, and we were sitting back and we were just thinking, okay, working together as a group, like, what do you want to accomplish this year? What are some things that you want to put forth that you want to get accomplished, right? And how are you going to go ahead and do that, right? So, sitting down and really doing that really helped, like I said, open your eyes, give you that 2020 clear vision of where you want to go and how you're going to get there. Because a lot of times we all have aspirations and dreams of things we want to do, but we never really have an idea or a plan of how we're going to get there.
Yep.
So essentially you're kind of just walking in there blind, and it's like when you're trying to get to the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
You know the way there, even though it's dark, but you're going to bump into some things, right? But imagine if you turn the lights on and you really got a chance to see where everything is, and then you really put it into your mind like, okay, I see where I need to go, and everything's a lot more clear. So that's what that moment was, right? It's like instead of just fumbling around and falling and bumping into shit, it's like, okay, let me just turn, like a light switch came on.
Yeah.
And now I can see like the end of the tunnel. It's like, okay, this is what I need to do to get there.
Yeah.
In a sense, right?
Big fact.
So it's cool, like, you know, and then holding yourself accountable. So that's one good thing. Like, even when we talk on the show about our own personal things, and even when you talk about it with other people, it's holding yourself accountable almost. And I always like to compare our times where we get to go on the mic and have these moments, almost like therapy. You know, it's a time where we really get to open up and just let out, because a lot of things, especially, you know, mental health being an issue, and we can go on days about mental health, especially in our community, obviously, right? It's not something that's ever been talked about or touched on growing up. It wasn't. It was just, hey, drink this holy water, pray for him.
Pray, exactly.
You know, whatever the case may be. There wasn't really no treatment or anything behind it to really fix the issues. But, you know, moments like this really help us. And I hope it inspires other people to even have those moments, right, where they can really sit back and reflect and find out where they should improve, and find a balance and find things that make them happy. And, you know, that's really one thing I want us to be able to do too, for, you know, for all our villagers and cousins out there, man. It's just, I hope when you guys listen to us, man, you get some type of reassurance that, you know, you're not alone out there. Don't think me and Benny have everything figured out, because we don't.
Fuck no.
We're figuring it out every day.
Real
and
tough.
That's the difference. If you can at least say, okay, I've learned from this, and how do I move forward and get better, that's the only way it's going to work. Even with our podcast, granted, you'll notice too on this episode, we won't have video, but we'll have the audio. And we're doing that more so just to get things down and more structured and be more consistent for you guys as well, and for ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So for instance, like, I think we might have said it last time, we're getting rid of the green screen, right?
Yeah.
And we're doing that more so as just being able to produce and give you guys episodes a lot faster.
Yeah.
Right? And not have to fumble around with post-production, because we're busy, you know, we work, we have jobs.
Yeah.
Right? Our masters need us on the plantation.
Fuck.
That's literally what I feel like, right? I feel like I belong to them. we're still wearing our damn blue polos, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, right now what we're working on is getting the set look down. And
set design redone.
the set design is going to be done pretty soon here, and then we're going to get the one camera shot, and we're going to be able to keep it rolling from then on. And then we'll have consistency from there, right? Because what's consistency? The key. And guess what? We got those as well. So now we will be in the studio on time to record and give you guys,
because we got keys to this bitch.
We got keys, and there's 3 of them, green, yellow, and red too, ironically.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was just planned or coincidence.
It was planned.
Oh man, must have been an Ethiopian or some Rastafarian who made these then.
Wow.
Chairman, men's never sleep. Men's has no alarm, fam. Men's has no alarm. Men's never snooze. Men's always woke.
Thumbs up from Alex.
Like, thumbs up.
Yeah, man.
That nigga's woke.
Nah, bro, but yeah, you spitting that gospel, bro, for real. Because big snaps. Nah, man, I did, like, just being able to champion fear. Like, I think that's the best part about even being able to do this whole podcast thing. It's like you said, for me, it's more so therapy than anything, man. It's like the more we're able to speak things out, and hopefully the idea is that we're not just talking for us, but it resonates enough with someone that they go out and they champion whatever fears they have, or, you know, they do. Because this isn't like, it may come off natural, but like, this is something we got to put a lot of thought into, and we got to think about, do people even care enough to listen to this? Like, you know, and for anybody who's out there who's trying to do anything for themselves, do it for yourself first and foremost. Like, just do it just to do it, so that you can look back and say, like, I have accomplished something. I've put something out on earth, because that in itself is a manifestation to the next thing, whatever the next thing is, you know. And so that's part of that 2020 vision, is just conquering fear. Like, I think, you know, just as far as holding things accountable, I want to be held accountable, that I want to go back to school. You know what I'm saying? Like, to some extent, I feel like I need to go back. I feel like I'm selling myself short if I don't go back. You know what I'm saying? And that's part of the 2020 vision, is finding what my route is going to be to get another higher level of formal education. In my case, more than likely in the legal field, just to set myself up for the future. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, whole lot of gang shit. Yeah, man, I think this was productive. I feel so at ease. I feel so good. You know, I feel like I just had a really good therapy session just now.
That was a really good therapy session. And I, you know, just a little thing I recently read, like on my phone just now. Like, that's how recent it was. It was kind of interesting, because it made me think about what you just said about fear, and life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage. So Damn. Fear defeats more people than any other one thing in the world.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Big facts. Yeah, I mean, and fear is a monster, bro. Fear is the devil.
It keeps you from really pursuing what you want to. Even if it's the fear of disappointment for yourself, or disappointing your
other
parents,
people. Yeah, exactly.
or other people you love,
parents,
whatever it is.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't do things, I should say, really out of fear, right?
Yeah. And that's the saddest shit in the world, to be honest. Because you're not only robbing yourself, but you're robbing the world of what could possibly come from you putting whatever that product or idea or whatever that output is out into the world. And yeah, fear is like the biggest and hardest thing to champion. But and really, that's like the main thing that separates those who are quote unquote great versus the majority of most people, is that, you know, we are conquered by our fears. Like, we're, as people, like, it's part of that free will. It's kind of like it's what makes it ironic. It's the gift and the curse, because to one extent, what separates us from animals is our consciousness, like our knowledge of self, which helps us evolve and grow and learn faster and develop as a society. But it's that same consciousness that also makes us self-conscious and builds anxiety and fear, because then you look at oneself relative to the world, or relative to, you know, the next person. And then, you know, you should be doing things on your own time, right? On your own, you have your own path. But especially now with social media, the internet, you have so much access to what everybody else is doing, their time track, and it's a curated version of what they're doing, right? It's not like the reality. Like, you follow my Instagram, it's all sweet. My life ain't sweet. You know what I'm saying?
They see what you want them to see.
Exactly. You know, and then people have a relative comparison of themselves to that, and they're not comparing my sweet to their sweet. They're comparing their real life to my sweet, or to anybody else's sweet. And then it becomes, and shit, I'm doing the same thing. You know, I'm over here looking at other things that are going on, like, damn, look at, like, this is where I'm at versus where I could be or where I should be. But I'm only basing that could or should off of someone else, right, which is completely irrelevant. It's all about self, you know, like self versus self. You know what I'm saying? And assistance and working with God, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only path there is, you know. That's the only relativity that there is.
It's true, man. Don't compare your life to somebody's sweet. That's the best thing, because random, like last year when I was traveling a lot, and I remember somebody asked me, he's like, man, you must have a lot of PTO. It's like, nah, nigga, I ain't got no job. I ain't got no JOB. That's why I ain't got shit else to do, nigga. I'm gonna just fly my ass everywhere.
Yeah, fact, yeah.
It's like,
but people look at it, they have no idea.
I'm like, damn, what's this nigga do? He must get to travel every day for work. Nah, nigga, he ain't got no work. I'm trying to figure life out.
Facts, exactly. That's like a magnificent point, right? Because people have no fucking clue.
Never assume.
And it's that's like I said, like that almost that insecurity within oneself to look at it and just assume that person has it all.
Yeah, it's like
no, more than likely whoever you're looking at don't have it all.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Even the person with it all doesn't have it all.
Doesn't have it all. Exactly. As a matter of fact, even the person who quote unquote has it all does not have it all.
I think that's the best way to that. Wow, I like that one.
It came full circle.
Yeah,
I like that.
God damn it, that's a mic drop, nigga. If these weren't expensive, I'd drop the shit out this bitch. I'd knock this hoe right off the tail. The fuck out of my face, nigga. Mic drop.
Yeah, man. But yeah, we could. You know what? On that note, if you want, we could wrap it up.
We could, and I hope you guys are wrapping it up.
Yes, please. Always wrap it up. This is brought to you by Magnum.
Wrap it up.
Yeah, facts. But always, man, keep it positive. Remember that you are worthy, you are capable, you are loved, right? And going forward, anybody should always remember that they're able to conquer their dreams as soon as they're willing to conquer their fear, because all of that shit is internal. Not to minimize anybody's feelings or anxiety or anything like that, but the reality of it is that it's all in our fucking head, at the end of the day. Like, good or bad or ugly, like, the world is a stage, is that it's a stage and we're the playwright. So I'm gonna leave it at that. And yeah, peace, love,
and chicken grease, I guess. Honestly, I'm over here trying to figure out where the hell the outro is.
That's right. We're just gonna cut it in, man.
We're just gonna cut it in because your boy fucking up.
Much love, yo.
No, that ain't. Look at that. Peace. Suck it easy.